This was one of the best games we have seen
in a long time.
We see great games every Saturday.
Yes,
but this game was incredible. Defense ruled the day until the end of the day. As Chip Trainum, he got the nickname Chip because when he was a little kid, he got the nickname Blue Chip. So they just shortened it to Chip.
Chip, I like Chip better.
And so that's how he got his nickname. His full name is DeMonte Trainum. On this night, he's a winner for Ohio State. Rolling into Notre Dame Stadium, 17-14. Kyle McCord, you want to talk about toughness? Fourth game as a starter, and Ohio State victorious. Play the fight song across the field. Back here in studio with two-time Super Bowl champ, former Florida State standout, Bryant McFadden.
Yes, sir.
And look, you know I'm an Ohio State fan.
Yes,
so,
you are.
OH!
It's okay. You can be biased for this segment.
That game was awesome.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Look, we have a producer here who's a huge Notre Dame fan.
He
a couple of Notre Dame. Yeah, Aiden is my guy. And we were going back and forth. We're going back and forth, all right? Because this game was incredible. The defensive stops, the big plays by the secondary, the defensive line, just your instant reaction to how this game went down, because this is an all-timer between these two schools, and they are top 10.
Number one for me, this is what college football is about. You know, just the build-up, the lead-up to this matchup, the tradition that both universities have to their side, associated with their name, that prestige, and just living up to the building, man. This game was so evenly matched when you look at the stat sheet, the box score. You know, both quarterbacks made plays. McCord actually had better numbers than Sam Hartman. And that last drive, man, he was in his bag. Running the football, Travion Henderson was outstanding today. The lead back for Ohio State made big-time plays. And you look at the pro players that lived up to the billing. They all stood up and they balled out. And that was a gutsy call by Ryan Day and his offensive staff. You don't have any timeouts. Of course, you're on the inside the 2-yard line or whatever the case may be. You can maybe throw it. Hopefully, if you don't catch it, you have an opportunity for another play. But deciding to run the football was gutsy. They came out with a huge win. And this was a great statement game for Kyle McCord as well, because you can talk about a guy that lacks experience, especially playing in this situation. I mean, he didn't blink at all. He continued to run in that burning kitchen, and he came out, man, victorious. And this is a huge win for Ohio State, something to build upon. And Notre Dame lost an opportunity, because we're watching this game. They had an opportunity to seal the deal.
They did.
Walk-off interception, right? I can't remember the DB, but you had an opportunity to take the game and end it. It wasn't Morrison, it was the safety.
Okay.
But he missed that interception that provided another lifeline for McCord in the Buckeyes offense, and they were able to get into the end zone. But great game. If you didn't have a dog in the race, you really enjoyed watching these two teams go to war for 4 quarters.
Yeah, it was incredible defensively, too. And I want to go back just before Ohio State scored the touchdown, because the previous drive for Ohio State, they had it on 4th and inches. And they run a jet sweep with Emeka Egbuka. You didn't like that
I didn't like the call, because Travion Henderson is a guy that is a back that leans on defenders. And you're trying to go east and west when you only need a yard. Give it to Travion Henderson, a guy who was extremely effective, over 100 yards. He averaged 7.4 yards per carry. So I understand you look at some of the prolific wide receivers they have for Ohio State. In that situation, just get the ball to your lead back and allow him just to lean forward for 1 yard. But that wasn't the say-all, be-all for Ohio State, because their defense came up with a huge stop to give the offense another possession.
Yeah, they were able to force a punt, and Jim Knowles, in his second season, the heralded defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State. And look, this was textbook to stop a team with Sam Hartman,
who has been experienced quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And Audric Estime, who you might as well call him Derrick Henry Jr. I mean, that guy can just bowl you over. And Ohio State they had some dumb penalties in this game.
Yes, they did.
Some unnecessary roughness, some holding penalties that were you didn't need to do that. But this defense for Ohio State, this is something special. They're second in the nation in points per game allowed, only behind Michigan.
And I don't know the last time we could say that about a Buckeyes defense, right? And you've been a Buckeye fan your entire life. That has been the Achilles heel for them.
Their nickname going back is Silver Bullets, but offense is what was the calling card.
In the last few years, you know, they haven't really been performed like Silver Bullets, right? But right now, what we're seeing from that defense, man, you got to get fired up. because they're playing lights out, and they played against a very, very experienced, well-led offense in the Fighting Irish, and Sam Hartman, a guy who's seen a lot of football and done so at a high level for quite some time, and they just neutralized their entire attack for 4 quarters on the road, to say the least. So you have to like the makeup of the Buckeyes team in totality when you talk about the balance. And oh, by the way, Marvin Harrison Jr. was dealing with an ankle ailment, so he wasn't at his best. But they still found a way to win this ball game. And like I said, you got to tip your hat to Kyle McCord, man. He didn't blink, man. He didn't blink. For him to be, I would say this is his first legit, big-time test.
Oh, yeah. This is the first time he's ever been in a situation.
In a situation like this, when you're playing against a playoff-caliber team, on the road, hostile environment, he didn't blink at all. And the moment never became too big for him. And that last drive, like I said, he was cool, he was calm. He was as comfortable as a baby in a baby seat. And that's extremely comfortable. And he needed to be that way for him to lead them to that scoring drive.
They're comfortable in the baby seat if they got something in their mouth, like a binky or a bottle, or they got a toy.
Pacifier.
Yeah, they got a pacifier as well. It was 4th and 7 with 51 seconds left. First down to the veteran, the senior Julian Fleming. Then they almost threw the pick in the back of the end zone, where we had the 2 safeties back there. Then the dime to Marvin Harrison, and then the intentional grounding,
which led to 3rd and 19.
Yeah, 3rd and 19, the complete to Emeka Buka right at the goal line.
And one thing I said before that, remember, 3-man line. Al Golden.
3-man rush.
I don't like that.
You didn't like it. That's
I didn't like that. That's the first thing I said. When I saw a 3-man line, I'm like, no, I don't like that, because now you give a guy like Kyle extra time. He has an opportunity to get as close as he needs to get to the first down marker, and he was able to do so, right? 3rd and 19, you just got a great penalty. You have momentum. Find a way to at least generate pressure with 4 guys instead of 3 guys. I'm saying, as a former defensive back, we don't like that, because we know we're going to have to cover a lot longer than what we would like to when you're only rushing 3 guys. And like I said, Kyle was so cool and calm. He was able to go through his progressions, and that was the defining moment that led to them winning this ball game. 3rd and 19, if you're Notre Dame, if you're a fan of Notre Dame, you're thinking, you know what, we got him. Because at that time, Hakeem, I think Ohio State only had like 1 timeout or something like that. So clearly, they were standing on eggshells.
Well, that play was on 3rd and goal, right? The touchdown was on 3rd and goal. So they were, even if he had been down, they were going to get another chance, because there would have been a second or 2 left on the clock. But he almost didn't get in.
He almost didn't get in. Yeah.
And that's how good Notre Dame's defense was in this game.
Yeah.
It was like, you get a 4th down stop, you get a 4th down stop. That's what it was. It was 3-0 at halftime.
I love it. And for all the fans, man, they be complaining. Oh, it's a boring game. We don't have any points. Stop.
The under hit.
The under definitely hit.
Never
for all
in
you
doubt.
have the under out there, man.
Under the covers game.
The under hit at halftime.
Yes.
You were pretty much ready to go to claim your ticket at halftime. But for all the fans out there to be complaining about, it's boring, there's no point, stop. We have guys that love the defense, that watch football.
Yeah.
I love it. I love these ugly slug fests where you're tired and you just throwing haymakers. You might hit, you might miss, because that's what football is about. I don't want to see 40 to 50 every weekend. I'm okay seeing 10-13, 17-10, and finding a way to sneak out a win. That's what football is all about. So for all you fans that have an issue, I don't care. Just, cry about it later, but enjoy the moment, because we saw 2 teams equally matched.
Yeah.
That have playoff aspirations, go toe-to-toe for 4 quarters.
Well,
and one team is jumping for joy, the other team is crying.
Look, I know Notre Dame has USC coming up on their schedule, and that's going to be.
I think I know where you're going.
Well, they're not out. So in terms of college football playoff implications, Notre Dame is still very much in it. A 3-point loss to Notre Dame, because if they can beat USC, which is a tall task, you see their schedule here. They got Duke coming up, but look. If they can beat USC,
Duke is playing pretty good football.
They are playing pretty good football. Yeah. But if they can beat Duke and then host USC, they're getting in. They're getting in the college football playoff.
No, I'm not going to say that just yet.
One-loss Notre Dame team?
You know what's going to hurt Notre Dame every year?
That's nonsense.
Especially if they have a loss.
I'm an Ohio State fan, and I'm sitting here making a case for Notre Dame.
I don't know why.
One-loss Notre Dame is getting in.
I know. You know what's going to hurt Notre Dame every year, especially if they have a loss on their record? They don't have a championship game that can help their case. They don't, because they're independent. So they don't have a championship game. So you're telling me you will be willing to take a one-loss Notre Dame team over a team that was undefeated and won their conference championship game?
We'll see about the situation because, look, the Pac-12 could finally have a representative.
Yeah, USC might not be undefeated by the time they play Notre Dame, which would hurt Notre Dame.
Right.
So if you're Notre Dame, you want USC to be undefeated. Well, you want USC to find a way to win every ball game except the game they play against you because that helps your case. But I'm not willing to say a one-loss team, a one-loss Notre Dame team, Hakeem, will find a way to get into.
They're still in the conversation.
There's only 4 teams. There's only 4 slots.
I'm aware. This is the last year. This is the last year for your teams.
12,
right.
I see where you're going.
I'm just saying a one-loss Notre Dame team, and if it's only lost to Ohio State and they beat USC, that they're going to get.
We got to see what happens with some of the other teams.
That's down the road.